Welcome to the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast. Tonight is episode 178, fantasy preview for week 25, which begins April 1st. Haha, April Fools, you're going to win this week.
I won't be winning this week, Bruce. I think you know that.
I won and won, and I got thoroughly thrashed by Chandel in the other one. I didn't even look today. It was that bad. She absolutely just decimated my team. Well, we'll talk about that team.
You know, shout out to Chandel because she's had a really strong season.
Bit of a rough start at the beginning of the season, but she's
committed. She's committed.
Absolutely.
So that's good. Good for her.
Great job.
Yep. I honestly, other than ESPN this week, I haven't even looked at anything else. I just was so far out of contention with everything else. And then of course I just got thrashed this week too. I don't know. It was a really weird season, Bruce. I'll be honest. I felt like I drafted some good teams, and some guys just didn't come out to perform. Some guys did. I don't know. I'd have to go back and just do a whole assessment on my rosters and go, what the hell happened this season? But
my forward heavy roster in ESPN is what's carried me this far because my defense and my goaltending has not been good.
Yeah.
So it's the forwards that have been carried it all. And I'm the same thing. I did the 0G thing, but I still get stuck on freaking goaltenders. I hang on to them way too long.
Yeah.
I should have been tossing goaltenders out a couple of weeks ago already, but I didn't. So I'm stuck with them now because there isn't much else to pick up. So
no. And this week was rough too. For the first week for our fantasy playoffs in ESPN, schedule sucked.
Yeah, you had 6 games on light days for the entire week.
Yeah.
So Tuesday wasn't too bad, but Thursday and Saturday you were picking players that had to stay on the bench. And
yeah, it was unfortunate. And I tried to maximize, the matchups that I thought made sense and grab players that I thought were going to do better than others, and it just didn't work out. And then there was no chance to catch up. My opponent, whatever, it's Jim, I think, was this week, and he had Tage Thompson on Friday, and he had 4 goals,
something like that. Yeah,
I think I was down 20 to start Friday, and then Tage Thompson went off. He had Jesper Bratt on his roster. He had 4 or 5 guys, and I think I had one. Or none, and it was just there was no opportunity to pick up any players in our league. Yeah. So for Friday, Sunday, I was kind of hooped, and Wednesday wasn't much better, and I could never get back in the matchup. So that's okay. As they say, Bruce, you can't win them all, and I've won a lot in that league. So
I'm just trying to win one, one.
and I said after our draft, I said, you know what, I was able to draft Connor McDavid. So now I didn't care so much what happened. Of course, you always want to win, but I just wanted one season with Connor, and I got it. So hopefully he can catch up and wrap up another scoring title here. That'd be kind of nice.
That'd be very nice. So he halfway through he was the leader, and then by the end of the night he was back in 3rd place, I think, again. So
yeah, that was funny. But of course I sent that tweet out because we were at the game on Saturday.
All right.
So that was my son Nathan. That was his first NHL game, and he had an absolute blast. Yeah, he did. So big shout out to our man Tyler.
Absolutely.
Who, of course, we used his seats again, and it was good. We had a lot of fun. Good game. I don't think you'd ask for a better first NHL game. They just absolutely spanked Anaheim. Connor scored a highlight reel goal, whatever it was, 10 minutes into the first period.
Nice.
And they didn't really look back from there. They almost had the shutout, right? They were close. I think it was about 3 or 4 minutes left in the 3rd period, and they got that one. But that one tip from Killorn, I think. But anyway, Nathan loved it. He got a bunch of souvenirs and stuff from it, and he's pretty wiped now. So yeah, it was good.
He wants to go back now.
He actually did. He actually said, "I can't wait for my second game," and he was really excited. He said, "These are really special seats, Dad." I said, "Yeah, they're pretty cool, buddy." So
yeah. So Dad, next week
won't be next week. No, it's like I tried to tell him too. Not every game's going to be like this. These are pretty good seats. So
yeah, exactly.
Set the bar a little high anyway.
Fantastic seats.
Yeah.
I think my seats on Friday are going to be probably a little higher than those ones.
Yeah, because you're going to the Colorado game.
Going to the Colorado game, yeah.
Yeah.
We're leaving here bright and early Friday morning, I think 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. They try to get into Edmonton, get to our hotel and get everything dumped off, and then grab some lunch and then off to the arena.
They've got to win that game, Bruce.
They have to win it. It's
not even just for the standings, but just mentally, from a mental standpoint, the Edmonton Oilers have to beat the Colorado Avalanche so that they feel like going into the playoffs, they can do it again.
Oh, they did a number on LA the other night, so that was nice.
They did. I actually feel a lot better now. It's just if we do end up matching up against LA in the first round, which I was talking to a friend last night about this, and they're only 4 points back of Vancouver right now with a game in hand. So really, in theory, it could be 2 points back, and there's 9 games left to play. They have
and
a
Vancouver
tough.
barely survived Anaheim today.
Yeah, and they've got a tough matchup this week. The Oilers, like they've got 4 pretty tough games.
Yeah.
But they definitely could do it. And if they do, and if things sort of stay, all things being equal, they might get LA in the first round again.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be a little nervous if they managed to pull Vegas or however that works out. But I think as LA, it's gonna be like the old Oilers Dallas series, except Edmonton's going to win this time.
Yeah, it's still, I think in all probability will be Vegas, right? I think they're playing a lot better than LA is right now. So chances are they kind of stick in that third spot, and I don't really see Edmonton falling out a second. I guess it still could happen with 9 games left, but
They'd have to fall off a cliff, which would, if they fall off a cliff, then it's But they look much improved, especially versus LA and versus Anaheim. That's you shouldn't lose to Anaheim 3-2. You should be if you're that high up in there, you should be just decimating them, and they did that.
Yeah, that 6-1 win was what we all kind of expected, and it was packed in there.
Yeah.
It was a sold out game, and it was.
That was an afternoon game too, wasn't it?
2:00 start. Yeah, so that was why it was nice for Nathan, right? Being that he's 6, good for him to be able to catch the whole game and not try to fall asleep. So
well, and the Oilers showed up for an afternoon game. Usually, the afternoon games are ones they usually have a tough time getting ready for.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it was kind of cool because they had the graphic on the jumbotron when Connor took the lead in the NHL points. But yeah, it was not for very long, right? He's sitting at 125, and then McKinnon, I think, was at the top at the end of the night, right?
Yeah, at the end of the night, it was McKinnon, Kucherov, and then McDavid again. So it'll be nice watching him go back and forth here for the next couple of weeks.
But he doesn't care. That's kind of the cool thing is he had another interview and they're asking about the Art Ross race, and he goes like, honestly, we're worried about bigger trophies. Like I don't care. Yeah. He's been there, done that. We've talked about that lots this year. So
as somebody posted on X on November 18th, Connor was 108th in league scoring.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then when he posted that, Connor was number 1 in league scoring. Like, and then that big holy crap face, right? Like that's what he can do.
That's a big turnaround.
You look at Kucherov, McKinnon had basically head starts on him, and he caught them.
Yeah,
like it's incredible.
I should go look and see what his point pace was from November 8th on. I'm very curious.
From November 8th on?
Yeah, I'd have to take a look at that.
But yeah, well, you do that. I'll introduce John's list.
Okay.
Even though John didn't have anything to do with the list tonight.
So John, you're on the list again too, buddy.
All right. Well, we'll move on to John's list here while Devon's looking that up. If you're a regular listener of the podcast, you'll undoubtedly be familiar with John's list. It's John's shit list of players, past and present. We throw in the occasional commissioner, GM, coach, newsworthy topic from around the hockey world. Tonight, we have 2 goaltenders that, if you were streaming them, you probably threw your TV brick at the TV while these 2 guys. So, Joel Hofer and Samuel Ersson. I know all about Ersson. I have him in 1 league. So, Joel Hofer and the Blues got shut out to the lowly. Oh my God, they lost to the Sharks 4-0.
Yeah,
I knew they lost. I didn't realize they got shut out. Holy crap! Well, Ersson gave up 5 goals on 24 shots to the Blackhawks. Yeah, I saw that. That was a -1.8 on my fantasy line for that night. I can tell you firsthand, there are many fantasy managers out there who are very disappointed. Yeah, well, I haven't dropped Ersson yet, but it's coming. Although they do have a decent schedule this week, so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I don't think Ersson's a guy you're going to be dropping at this point, unless there's a really nice replacement option out there. But
yeah, it has to be a pretty nice matchup.
Yeah, Hofer was purely a stream for me yesterday, but that's kind of how my week went, Bruce. It was like that's a juicy matchup, right? St. Louis against San Jose. Seattle's still in the playoff race. Hofer's been pretty steady this season. I thought that should have been a slam dunk. And
especially St. Louis being fighting for a playoff spot.
That's what I mean.
Playing the Sharks, you would think they should be able to come out and do better than 4-0
and not lay an absolute egg. Yeah, so that's kind of how my week went, Bruce. It was like everything that should have happened, just like the exact opposite happened. So that's fantasy is a fickle beast. But Just quickly going back to Connor McDavid quickly.
Yeah.
So since November 8th, he's got 115 points in 61 games. That is a 154 point pace and a 36 goal pace over 82 games.
Nice.
So yeah, he's had quite the turnaround, and I didn't look at what it was, start of season to November 8th, but they're really not much, right? If you look at, he's got 127 points right now, or 125.
125, I believe.
Yeah, so I just whatever. Like the majority of his points it's all come after that slow start. So yeah, really interesting.
You look how far the Oilers as a whole have come since that time.
Yeah,
they were like third last at one point in time.
Yeah,
and now they're third in the Pacific.
Second
in the Pacific.
Yeah, I think I'll go check the standings here again quick, but I do believe they were sitting in second. Because I just said they were last I looked. Yeah, they're just behind Vancouver.
Hofer and Ersson bad, McDavid good.
Yeah, that's our long-winded way of saying that, Bruce, for sure.
Want to take a wild guess at who the fantasy lock of the week is?
Give you one guess.
You might know him. We've mentioned him, I think, just about every week since the middle of November.
Yep.
It's Connor McDavid once again. He has. I brought up the wrong report. 1 second. Where is? That's the 2-week report. I want the 1-week report. All right. There we go. All right. Connor McDavid. So 8 points in 3 games, 3 goals, 5 assists. See, he is shooting. He's not just going for assists, although he isn't that far away from 100 assists. He's 6 off now?
4. He's 4 back.
4 off?
Yeah. So I'd say at this point, Bruce, that's pretty much a lock. That's going to happen.
I would think so, right? I would think him getting 100 assists in a season. This season shouldn't be a problem. He has got 1 game-winning goal, 3 power play points. His time on ice is just under 19 minutes and 19-20. He's got a 73% power play share, which translates to just under 3 minutes on average of power play time a night, which is very, very nice. And he's going to win the scoring title. It's just a formality at this point, I think. He's going to light their league up, and
I want to believe he will. But you know what? Kucherov and McKinnon are both playing some really good hockey right now, and it's going to be tight. It's a really interesting season, not just for the Art Ross, but I think for almost every award category this season. There's lots of options, it seems, for everybody. So
I just think he's going to want to put a stamp on things there at the end of the season to let everybody know he's playoff ready. So I think that's
just put an exclamation point on it. Yeah,
put a bit of exactly. Honorable mention this week will go to see here, Mr. Artemi Panarin, who also put up 8 points. He had a goal and 7 assists. He's basically averaging about the same amount of ice time as Connor. Not quite as much in terms of power play share. About a fraction of the power play time on ice, about half. But he had himself a good week too.
Yeah, he's having a good season.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about one of his line mates here a little bit later.
We will.
All right. Let us move on to Edge Work, segment where we put in the work to give you the edge in your fantasy hockey league. Each week, the hacks will cover the schedule, the waiver wire targets, and guide you to victory. I'm going to need it this week. Things you need to know. We are week 25. We are deep into the fantasy. Oh boy. We are deep into the fantasy playoffs. Congrats to everyone that it's made it this far. This week, we have a total of 56 games on the schedule. Still 3 full days, but the 1 full day has shifted from Tuesday to Sunday just because the NHL schedule makers love doing that to us. And then we've got 4 light days. Light days are where 50% or fewer teams are in action. All right, so here, in terms of attempting to optimize the schedule for games played this week, we've got 17 teams play 4 games this week. Edmonton and the Rangers play 3 of their 4 games on light nights. Seattle plays all 3 of their games on light nights this coming week. 16 teams, play 2 games on light days. Did I say light nights before?
Maybe you did. We'll go with light days. That's fine.
Light days. And there are 11 sets of back-to-backs. So there will be some backups in play this week for everyone looking to stream. Vegas is the only team this week to fade, as they are the only team in the league that played 2 games. So just to do a quick recap, 8 games on Monday. Tuesday, there's 8 games. Wednesday, there's 5. Thursday, there's 9. Friday, 6. Saturday, 11. And Sunday, 9. So lots of players in action every night. So no excuse to be those. Thank God there's no more of those 1-game nights.
It was a brutal start to our fantasy playoff, Bruce. It was awful.
Yeah. That was, what do they call that? In fantasy football, they have, what are the guillotine leagues where they drop the team off. The bottom team drops off every week.
Yep.
And then his players go into the waiver wire and everyone fights over them. And then it just continues till there's 1 team left.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's kind of what last week felt like.
A little bit.
All right. Let us move on to waiver wire targets here for week 25. Waiver wire targets will be focused on players that are rostered roughly 50% or less in Yahoo or Fantrax League, When considering players to target, we consider recent performance, player deployment, upcoming schedule, and more. So we are going to kick it off here with some forwards. First forward on the list here is Mr. Jonathan Drouin of the Colorado Avalanche. Oh, boy.
That's very fancy, Bruce.
Should check it. Maybe there's some vodka in this water. I'm not sure. Oh, boy. He is rostered 26% in Yahoo, 54% in Fantrax. Colorado is playing 4 games this week. So, as you mentioned before, Drouin is making most of his time here on the top line. This past week, he had 5 points, 3 goals, assists in 4 games. He's averaging just over 23 minutes a night, which I thought was really interesting. I had to double check that number. I didn't think it was that high, but he's putting up 23 minutes a night time on ice, according to the chart that I got.
Well, he played 28 minutes in that game this past week, Bruce.
That's awesome. That's an incredible amount of minutes.
It is. He didn't have any actual points, which is unfortunate, but he's playing a pile of minutes, and now he's been productive. Like there's lots to like about his game. So yeah, and it's crazy. He's still 26% rostered in Yahoo, right? Like you
look at his stat line. I thought I was looking at McKinnon's for a while, like 80% power play share. It's like, holy cow! Like it's clicking. So they're putting him out there.
Give him every opportunity to succeed. It's good.
Absolutely. He's gone in both our leagues, by the way. He's not available.
Well, I have him in ESPN. Yeah.
He's gone. And this guy disappeared off of our ESPN list and Yahoo list pretty fast, too. I'm going to talk about Mr. Lafreniere.
Yeah, Alex Lafreniere, left winger, eligible for the New York Rangers, 40% rostered in Yahoo, 66% in Fantrax. And as you mentioned, Bruce, they got 4 games. I like their schedule a lot this week. Pittsburgh,
nice.
New Jersey, Detroit, and Montreal. So that looks pretty tasty. Playing with Artemi Panarin and Vincent Trocheck is also a real boost. And then he's on the second power play unit. But he's had himself a good week here. 7 points, 5 goals in 3 games, averaging just under 17 minutes a night. Lots to like there. It looks like Alex Lafreniere is finally rounding into form and maybe starting to meet expectations based on where he was drafted. Yeah. But yeah, just given who he plays for, when they're playing this week, there's really it's a no-brainer. I think he's going to put up some real points this week. So if he's still out there, go grab him. If not, hopefully not playing against him.
And he's 22 only, so
there's time.
He's been in the league for 4 years now.
Feels like he's been around for a long time, but it's
he's only 22. He's still young, like really young.
But he was compared to a lot of elite level players coming in, right? Like he got drafted first overall, and there's a lot of comparisons, and I mean it's tough. The draft is so crazy sometimes, right? It's just, but yeah, he's finally started to get there, and you're right, Bruce. He's going to get better, right? And he'll reach that 400 game threshold, 200 game, whatever it is, and he'll start clicking. And if he's going to continue to play with Panarin and Trocheck, like he's going to put up points.
His points are going to come. He can just stand in front of it. He can bounce it off his butt like they do Hyman.
It's working well for Hyman. So
just stick it out and it'll bounce off of it and in, and there you go. It's a goal.
Well, you know what, Bruce? If if Zach Hyman and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has taught us anything over the last 2 seasons, it's that you should be patient, particularly with young players, right? Because you just never know.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's they've done good with Lafreniere to be patient with him and now putting him in a position to succeed. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Next guy on our list is Kyle Palmieri of the New York Islanders. So he's rostered 15% in Yahoo, 31% in Fantrax. Islanders got 4 games this week too. So checked his numbers. Palmieri didn't do a whole lot points-wise last week, just 1 point over the 3 games. However, this coming week here is going to be a great opportunity for the Islanders. They got 4 games on the slate, and they play Philly, Chicago, Columbus, and Nashville. So first 3 are definitely winnable. Nashville, they'll be a little bit in tough, but he's playing on the top line here with Brock Nelson and Bo Horvat. He's playing on power play 1, so he's got the opportunity. He's got the deployment. If you got a spot in your lineup that you got to fill, be a good one to add. He's going to get lots of opportunity this week.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about Palmieri, was it last week or the week before? But just, again, it was one of those things I thought we should talk about him just because he has a nice schedule. Like Philly, Chicago, Columbus, those are games that the Islanders should put up some points against.
Definitely. And he's got great deployment, right? First line, first power play. That's what you
want that deployment, right? And you look at,
you want.
Quality competition, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's and widely available. So that's just, there's lots of things to like.
Absolutely. You want to talk about our next contestant? I think he was on here. He's been on here the past little while too. He's kind of like Duran.
You know what though, Bruce? We're kind of at that point in the season where it's like there's a couple guys who you should be keying in on, and if you haven't, and it looks like we're at a strange spot in the season where maybe we're halfway through playoffs for some leagues, depending on when they started, and so guys just aren't being picked up as readily as they would be throughout the season. But Anthony Duclair, left wing eligible for the Tampa Bay Lightning. 39% rostered, still just 39% rostered in Yahoo.
Yeah.
52% in Fantrax, 4 games on the schedule. I do like their schedule as well this week. So at home versus Detroit, on the road in Toronto, and on the road in Montreal, and then on the road in Pittsburgh. But I mean, 3 of those 4 teams really should be juicy matchups for Duclair and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Playing with Kucherov and Braden Point, and then on the second power play unit. So he did have a slow week. He's cooled off a little bit, which I think was to be expected. He was running way too hot, but single point in his last 3 games, but 4 games on the slate, like I said, 3 against non-playoff teams, and just power play 2 time, which he kind of got bumped off that spot. That's okay though. I mean, still averaging 15 minutes a night and just under 3 shots on goal per game. I think it's a guy you still take a shot on with that schedule this week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I'm waiting for someone to drop him so I can pick him up.
Well, and like we said in the past, that was a guy that I really thought the Oilers should have taken a look at for the deadline. But
yeah, me too. I was one of those guys I thought he would too. All right, next guy on the list here is Mr. Shane Pinto of the Ottawa Senators. He's rostered 22% in Yahoo, 59 in Fantrax. Ottawa's got 4 games here next week too. So Pinto's got 4 points here in his last 4 games, although those 4 points came in actually all one game, but still spread them out nicely. He's centering the top line with Tkachuk and Batherson. That line is combined for 11 points here over the last 3 games, so they're doing well as Ottawa. Ottawa's put together a nice little run here as well. So
it's garbage time.
They got 4 games on schedule this week, and they are basically, except for Minnesota, Minnesota, Florida, New Jersey, and Washington. Those last 2 are probably going to be fighting for a playoff spot. So the way they've been playing, they might be able to play a little bit of a spoiler and make some people cry. That would be awesome.
You know what? The only matchup I'm really worried about is Florida, right? With the other 3, I think New Jersey, and Washington, those are like, Ottawa's been a bit of a pest here recently, so it wouldn't surprise me if they put up some points against those teams.
It's the Brady Bowl. You never know. It just could be fights unlimited.
There could be a pile of Pims. Yeah, you're right.
It's the Brady Bowl.
The
Tkachuk Bowl, sorry. All right. Enough about him. Let's talk about the next guy. Oh, you're in the middle of drinking. You probably don't want to.
That's okay. I'm just working on some scotch here.
There you go.
JJ Peterka. We've talked about this guy plenty, Bruce, between the off season and in season, but he's off to a good he's a nice role here. So JJ Peterka, right wing eligible for the Buffalo Sabres, rostered in 30% of Yahoo leagues, 59% in Fantrax. 4 games on the schedule this week. He's playing on that top line with Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck, and on power play 1. What tipped me off to this one was I think Tyler picked him up early in the week. It might have been Tuesday or something. He picked up Peterka, and I went, oh, shoot. Okay, where's he playing? Looked right away. Yeah, sure enough. So he's made the most of that move. 2 points, both goals in his last 3 games. A whopping 16 shots on goal over that span. He's averaging over 20 minutes time on ice, 55% power play share on the top unit. He looks like a really, really nice option here for the upcoming week. And I wonder what a guy like Jeff Skinner, where he gets, if he gets punted next season, Bruce, because they've got some guys here between Peterka and Quinn and Cousins and all these guys, these young players that, are going to fill in that role. And Peterka shooting 16 shots on goal in 3 games. That's nice volume right there.
I had to make sure that I set the calendar right on that to make sure when I did the report to make sure that was the right dates. Because that's a lot of shots on goal for 3 games. But
it is.
He sure did.
Yeah. Well, and playing with Tage Thompson and Tuck. But the way Tage Thompson's playing right now too.
He's playing insane. That's part of the reason why I lost this week. Shandell had him. So.
Yep. So all those people that drafted Tage Thompson where they did, expecting he was going to have a 130-point season, probably pretty happy to see him, getting things going offensively here late in the season.
Just in time for the fantasy playoffs.
Yep.
So Skinner's got 3 years left at $9 million. You think they try to dump his salary in the offseason?
Woof. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, if they can get the right deal. But Jeff Skinner does this, right? He has a really good season. He'll have like a 40-goal season, and then he'll do nothing. And then he has a 40-goal season, and he drops off the face of the earth. And it's kind of been his MO.
If I remember correctly, wrong one. I think he's not playing in the top 6 again.
No, he's down in the bottom 6 right now, Bruce.
He is third line with Peyton Krebs and Jordan Greenway.
Yeah.
So they've bumped him right out of the top 6 now.
And I don't think that's a place where a guy like Jeff Skinner typically is going to succeed. So,
no, he's not. He's not a 3rd or a 4th line guy.
No.
Oh, excuse me. All right, let us move on to defensemen, and I picked them, so I apologize in advance. But holy crap, there was not a whole lot to choose from this week. Not a lot at all.
It's a tough point this season, Bruce.
Yeah. So, first defenseman here, Justin Schultz. I was very surprised to see that he is rostered 1% in Yahoo. I thought it would be higher than that, but he is rostered 1% in Yahoo, 18% in Fantrax. Seattle's got 3 games this week, but all 3 games are on light days. So if you need a defense streamer, Schultz might be in line. He's still excuse me. Oh boy, that went down the wrong pipe. Schultz could be a sneaky good pickup this week. Vince Dunn is still out with injury, so Schultz has some time on the top power play unit. As I mentioned earlier, Seattle plays all of their games on late days this week. He's had a couple of assists here in the last 4 games. He's averaging just under 19.5 minutes a night time on ice, and he's getting a decent amount of power play share here too, as well, being on the top power play unit. And they've got an interest, I think a manageable thing. They're on the road all week. They're doing their California tour, San Jose, LA, and Anaheim. So only game area you immediately might have to worry about is LA, but the other 2 should be manageable for the Kraken to sink some ducks and some sharks.
Well, and even the Kings at this point in the season, Bruce, haven't looked all that dangerous, right?
Crown the Kings while you're down there.
Yeah.
So not too bad. He's rostered 1%, so he's available basically everywhere. So if you need a late day streamer for defense, he'll be it.
Could do worse.
Next guy on the list there, Mr. Devon.
Yeah, Caden Gooley for the Montreal Canadiens, 7% roster in Yahoo, 49% in Fantrax. 4 games on the upcoming schedule, and it's an ugly schedule, Bruce. Florida,
a murderer's row.
Yeah, right now this is not a good situation to be in if you're Montreal. Florida, Tampa, Toronto, and the Rangers. He is playing on that second pairing with Mike Matheson and on the second power play unit. And I think he just got suspended. Was it 1 game, Bruce? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, he had to miss their last game here. He's back for.
Yeah. But he had himself a good week otherwise. 5 points, 1 goal, 4 assists
Yeah.
in 3 games, averaging just over 23 minutes time on ice. Some power play time, like I had mentioned, 20% power play share. So not a huge amount of power play time if you're looking for that coverage, but he chipped in with 5 hits and 7 blocks. So a bit of category coverage that way. And I think if he's playing against those 4 teams, you're probably going to see quite a few blocks and probably a few more hits as he's spending more time in the defensive zone. So if you're looking for category coverage that way, I think there's some interest. And then 2, offensively, he's been pretty good. So
The Tampa and Toronto games could be interesting just because of history. Although there's not many people on Montreal that remember the Tampa series in the finals, but maybe Gallagher, that's about it. Gallagher, who else is left from that team? There's not a lot left from that team.
yeah,
Made that cup run during COVID there, and they always play Toronto tough. I wouldn't be surprised if Montreal won that game.
Yep. I mean, anything can happen, right? You never know.
Yeah.
It's just, but these are 4 tough matchups, right? So
Absolutely. All right. Next guy on the list is also one of those that's been here before a couple of times. Mr. Torrey Krug of the St. Louis Blues. He is currently rostered 24% in Yahoo, 56 in Fantrax. They have got, St. Louis has got 4 games here this week as well. Did I write this?
This is all you, Bruce. The D-men were all you. I take no credit for this.
I don't remember writing this. So it must have been.
It was a late night.
It was a late night. It was middle of the afternoon today when I wrote it. Torrey Krug is back on the waiver wire picks again. St. Louis has a decent 4-game schedule this week. As I mentioned, Edmonton at home, and then Nashville, San Jose, and Anaheim on the road. Blues are in a hunt for a playoff spot here, so Krug has 2 points in his last 3 games. He's just under 20 minutes a night time on ice, and he's back quarterbacking that top power play with a 70% share. So another guy to stream if you need a defenseman with some power play coverage. He seems to be good for a week here, a week there, and that. And they're in the playoff hunt, so we should be able to put up some points this week.
Yeah, I mean, I like those matchups against San Jose and Anaheim. And they seem to play Edmonton pretty well too. I mean,
yes.
So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if you're picking up Gooley for some category coverage outside of power play points, Torrey Krug might be the guy to grab if you need power play points.
Exactly. All right, that does it for defensemen. We will tread now into goaltenders. And Devon, you want to talk about our goaltender of choice this evening?
Yeah, well, so the goaltenders is just kind of a schmozzle this week, to be honest. But we're recycling Jake Allen from last week for the New Jersey Devils. 38% rostered in Yahoo, 39% in Fantrax. 4 games on the schedule, and I do like this schedule. So they got Pittsburgh at home, the Rangers on the road, Ottawa on the road, and then Nashville at home. So there's some things to like, some things maybe not to like. But since joining the Devils, he's posted a 4.30 record with a 2.59 goals against, a 9.23 save percentage, and a 4.46 goals saved above average. Those are really steady numbers. I'd be fairly confident grabbing him as a streaming option at a critical time in the season here. And the thing to mention, too, is that, and Bruce, we talked about this off air, but they've got 4 games, but 2 sets of back-to-backs. So the thing about Jake Allen this week is that you're going to want to grab Jake Allen, but also maybe handcuff him with a guy like Kaapo Kähkönen. Depending on how many goals you have and how many you want to carry. But I think that there's some at least starts to be had there. And against teams like, the Rangers and Nashville, you're going to get some volume, some save volume there too. So some good things to like. And then Bruce, we've got a few other goaltenders here just to mention as some alternative options. So what do you think?
Yeah, so we've got Alex Nedeljkovic for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He seems to have taken over at least the starting role here at the end of the season. Tristan Jarry hasn't been doing that well, and Nedeljkovic's been getting the majority of the starts, so we'll keep an eye on that. That might be a nice streamer. Jonathan Quick is another one to keep an eye on, too, with Rangers playing 4 games this week. They may not want to give Quick a couple of games here to give... oh, my God, I forgot his name already. Shesterkin, that's his name.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy.
Give Shesterkin some rest here as they head down the stretch. The other one to keep an eye on here, too, is the Washington Capitals goalie, Charlie Lindgren. They are in a playoff spot with a -31 a -31.
Goal
What is that?
differential. The goal
Goal
differential.
differential
It's
is
ugly.
ugly.
Yeah.
But they're in the playoff spot right now, so just absolutely amazing. But they seem to be winning here at the right time too. So he's another one to keep an eye on here for the upcoming week.
It's interesting, Bruce, that Washington's actually worked their way up to third in the Metropolitan right now. And
did they?
Yes, they did. And they've got 2 games in hand over the Flyers. So it's Tampa as the first wild card, Philly is the second wild card, and Philly's only 2 points up on Detroit, and Detroit has a game in hand. So at this point, honestly, I'm fully supporting Detroit taking over that second wild card spot. I'd really like to see that. I have no issue with that at all. And then
Flyers are fading fast.
Yeah, so I'm good at that. Like, see ya, Philly. Yeah. I have no interest. But give me Detroit and Washington in the playoffs. I'm good at that.
That would be nice. Most definitely. That is it for players for this week, unless you've got anybody you'd like to add.
No, nothing else on my end. Just good luck to everyone that's still playing in the fantasy hockey playoffs, and thanks for listening this season. We've got a couple more episodes left, Bruce,
I think we've got one left, because I took a look tonight, so the last week and a half of the season is compressed into week 26, so
okay. So
we'll have one more for sure, and if you want to do a wrap-up show or something like that, but one more for sure.
Yeah, so one more. I think we'll try and do like a playoff preview episode or something. Just something fun. Yeah. We'll talk about who our picks are throughout the playoffs and see how that goes.
We'll see if Ryan's done therapy. Wants to join us.
Yeah, maybe we get Ryan on to talk about his thoughts, and it'd be great to have Ryan and Tyler on the same show again too, and maybe the four of us can do something like that. So
definitely.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that's it for the show this week. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter or X at FHHacks and on Instagram at Fantasy Hockey Hacks. Don't forget to check out our live show, Hacks Hangout, every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Mountain Time on EdmontonSportsTalk.com and on YouTube.com/heavyhockey. Have a good evening, everyone.
Take care.